Trying to keep a classroom full of 25 plus students engaged in all of your lessons can be challenging. I'm also pretty sure that attention spans are getting shorter and shorter each year. I've got 5 student engagement tips and tricks to use in your classroom today. Welcome back, I'm Rachel Vincent and I share tips and tricks on how to run an effective and efficient classroom so that you can get more done and still have time to teach. The easiest way to get your students engaged into the lesson is to use hand motions. We are entering the test prep season where a lot of the questions we're going over in class are multiple choice. And so I taught my students the hand signals for the answer choices A, B, C, and D so that when I want to ask them what they think the answer is, they can raise their hand either in an A, B, C, or D, and then I will see sort of where students are at. This helps from some of the students sort of checking out and not really paying attention, hoping that somebody else will answer the question. It also allows for some of your students who need a little bit of additional support that they can kind of sort of see if their answer was right that they were thinking to begin with, but feel confident enough to give the answer. With that, I do always make sure that students will tell me why they chose their answer and we're not just sort of picking answers and moving on, because I know that test prep needs a lot of explanation of why the answer is that. We do talk through it, but having students raise their hands in the letters allows me to see who sort of knows, who doesn't, which 2 answers are we confused at, and it just gives me a lot of feedback personally as the teacher. Some other hand motions that my student teacher has taught my students, which I really enjoy, is to do different animals for different things. So when she's wanting their attention for something, she'll ask them to give them a unicorn horn or shark fins, and they just do different hand motions just so you know that A, students are paying attention, B, it's silly and allows them to kind of relax a little into the lesson, and it just keeps them involved with the lesson so you know that they're engaged. Another easy way to engage your students in your lesson is to allow them to write on their desks or tables with dry erase markers. I don't know what it is about writing on desk, but I think it's because students feel like they're not allowed to. So when you do allow them, it just hypes up that engagement. It is great for if you're practicing vocabulary or spelling or working out math problems. Students absolutely love it. I will be honest, it does not clean 100% off. You can wipe it and erase it, but it does leave a little bit of a dusting, but it's nothing that a wet wipe or Clorox wipe can't clean away right away. And so after we're done with the lesson, I pass out the wipes, have them wipe all the expo marker off. And so now we have very clean desks and students have stayed engaged and enjoyed learning through that process. Games by far are one of the easiest way to up engagement in any lesson. Any way you could turn your lesson into a game is going to automatically up that engagement level. Some of the things I like to do are 4 corners. Again, along with that multiple choice, have them go to the corner that they think the answer is. We've also done sort of like Jeopardy style where we team up and each group gets a different question and earn points for it. You can also do it with tic-tac-toe, where you ask the students the questions and then whichever team gets it right gets to go place an X or an O on the board. You can make it really simple and just tally points or actually play a game along with it. It's just a great way to sort of get those kids involved and get that competitive level coming out in them. Sometimes you need something real simple that does not require a whole lot of extra prep for you. And one way to make sure your students are actually thinking about the questions you're asking instead of just waiting on somebody else to answer is with the think, pair, share strategy. Step 1 is for you to tell your students, I want you just to think about what you think the answer is. You propose a question, maybe you've read a passage and you want them to think about what or determine the theme of the passage, so you have them think to themselves, what do I think the theme is? And you give them 2 to 3 minutes to think and not let anybody else talk. Then you tell them to pair up with the person next to them and tell the person what they think the theme is. That way you have every student is talking to someone else in the class about what they thought the theme of the story is or the answer to the question was. It allows students who may not feel that confident in sharing an answer out loud in front of everybody to be able to share their answer with a partner. It also allows them to sort of gauge where they are with their answer. So if their partner says something completely different, they can have a dialogue about why they think what they're thinking. And then the final step of that is to share. You ask 1 or 2 people to share their answers, or another strategy I like to do instead of just sharing their answer, I like to ask them, who wants to share their partner's answer? And so it kind of just adds that extra element of engagement where now people are talking, or where now students are trying to communicate what somebody else said. It gives them those extra skills of being able to do that. The think, pair, share strategy is super easy that you can implement into any type of lesson you are planning. Another strategy that works really well when you have a lot of information that you need to dissect as a class is the jigsaw strategy. This works really well in science and social studies when you have a lot of information that you want students to learn about. The basic premise is you have each group of students learn about a certain aspect of what you're learning about. So take, for instance, you were learning about the water cycle. So each group would learn about a different part of the water cycle. One would learn about evaporation, one would learn about condensation, precipitation, runoff. And so you would have each of those students giving them 10, 20 minutes, however long period of time you need them to read the text, answer some questions, analyze it, research it, and they sort of become the experts on that area. And then the second part of that is then you have each of the students share out what they learned and report to the class, here's what we learned, here's what you need to know. And so basically it's like a jigsaw puzzle where each group is putting the pieces to that together so they have the whole collective of learning. I really like to use the jigsaw for, like I said, science and social studies. It's a great thing to also do during that test prep season where you're reviewing things. You can have students remember what they're learning. You guys write down everything we need to learn about this, we need to remember about this topic, and so on. It's also a great thing to do at the beginning of the school year, especially in upper grades, because students know rules and procedures. And so having them sort of create, I want you guys to write down all the things we need to remember about how we go to lunch, and you guys write down all the things we need to know about recess, and you guys write down all the things we need about using the bathroom, and have them sort of create the rules and procedures and then bring those and piece those together for the jigsaw at the end so everybody can review and remember all the things they need to know. If you're interested in knowing more fun and creative ways to review and prepare for end of the year testing, leave me a comment down below and say test prep ideas, and I will be sure to make a video for that. I have the instructional slide templates for the Think, Pair, Share and the Jigsaw and many more available in my TPT store. The link is below in the description box. Thanks for watching.